What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Rockets Daily, brought to you by Fan Arch. My name is David Delano, and we're going to be talking all things like we do every day. What episode now? Well, don't want us to get the number wrong, but you see how many episodes we've got. And if it's your first time here, welcome. Add us to your Rockets coverage. Go ahead and subscribe. And we're just going to go ahead and get right into it because there's definitely a lot to talk about. Most of you guys, if you're here, you probably know this news. If you're watching, if you're engaging in a show like this, the news that we talked about yesterday, and we're going to talk about today and beyond, is the backcourt depth for the Houston Rockets has been a concern, and before the season even started. Before training camp. We're getting excited about training camp. Less than a week away from training camp. And Fred VanVleet is out. Probably for the season. That's what it looks like. And one of the comments doesn't believe he's really injured. I think it's because he took less money. I think that the air, we're not going to suck the air out of this show. We're not going to suck the air out of this season. But let's be real about this, man. I mean, the city of Houston, we talk about sports cities, and I'm going to be honest, like sometimes, definitely diehards, but sometimes, Rockets fans, you know what I'm talking about, man. Sometimes with this city, with getting excited about things, and when things don't go, when things go a certain way, do you feel like the energy for beginning to believing to win a championship is gone? We're going to talk about here, I should have said this at the beginning. This episode today, we're going to talk about why the Rockets will still win the championship this season. And I'm not a fanboy on here. I'm not. And you don't just glaze the Rockets and just say things to make you feel good. We're going to talk about that today, why this thing will still be a successful season and why it can still end in the championship. Now, tomorrow's episode, I may say some things that won't make you feel too good because we're going to talk about all sides. But today, there's some reason for optimism, and we need that because it's raining in Houston. Not literally at the second, although it is coming, but in the sports world, it definitely is, and it just depends on how H-Town you are. This is Rockets Daily. Astros, outstanding run. Lost to the Athletics tonight. I'm recording this. Swept by the Mariners, last over the weekend. Not looking good after so many great seasons. It's not over, though, yet. It's not over. Texans, you know what it is. And now with this injury, I mean, it's raining in Houston, man. So let's try to get a little bit of sunshine here. Like I said, go ahead and thanks so much for locking in with us. Go ahead and leave any comments that you want to leave. But let's talk about why the Rockets can and why the Rockets still will win this thing in 2025, 2026. First of all, let's start with the coaching. And the fact that this team has overachieved the last two seasons, and the reason that the team has overachieved, a lot of the reasons, the chemistry and the ability to bring the guys together, and the credit for those things happening, a lot of it starts with Ime Udoka. And I think that he is the right guy to be able to get the team through this. Who was in the NBA Finals this past season? Oklahoma City Thunder, main team that we gotta... at least we assuming on paper, the NBA, the favorite, right? But who did the Oklahoma City Thunder beat? The Indiana Pacers. Or the Indiana Pacers, how many of you guys had a future on the Indiana Pacers to go to the NBA Finals? Rick Carlisle, an outstanding coach, on a written platform. During the finals, before the finals was over, I had an article that I wrote about whether or not Rick Carlisle was a Hall of Famer already, or if he needed to win that championship over Oklahoma City to really solidify his Hall of Fame legacy. And I said that Obviously, that would be the icing on the cake, no doubt, but I broke down throughout history different Hall of Fame coaches, their accomplishments compared to Rick Carlisle. And the conclusion that I came to was that Rick Carlisle is a Hall of Fame coach with or without that championship. And obviously, it ended up with a finals loss. But he ended up, Oklahoma City Thunder, they're great, right? But Nuggets took him to 7. Pacers took him to 7. Give credit where credit is due. I understand Oklahoma City deserved that championship. Probably, the odds were in their favor to win that game 7. But Halliburton doesn't go down. We could be talking about a whole nother situation. Point being, Indiana Pacers almost won the NBA Finals. If the Indiana Pacers could almost win the NBA Finals, you don't think that this Houston Rockets team without Fred VanVleet can do that? I do. Not knocking Fred, but I definitely do. And there's a few reasons for that. First of all, we've talked about the point guard depth, but I'm okay going into training camp, going into the regular season with the roster looking the way that it does. We know at some point there's going to be another point guard added to this team. Now, how big that name is, who it is, we've been talking about point guards all summer. We'll talk about them again, so I'm not going to name drop all of them. But if it's your first time here, if you haven't looked at all episodes, you can go back and go ahead and check out some of the old podcast episodes. We went into some point guards around the league. Some of them are still out there. A lot of them are still out there. We may see here soon. By the time you're watching this, there may be another point guard added. But point being, going to the season with what we have, we're going to see at some point, that there's going to be some changes. Give the front office credit. I know that they're working on it now. At some point, there's going to be somebody else brought in. So with this happening so early, one reason the Rockets can win, there's still time to replace Fred. Now, is it going to be somebody as good as Fred? What are we going to have to give up to make up that cap space? I understand all that. But another reason here, even though it's highly unlikely that you're going to bring in the same type of caliber player as Fred VanVleet, you look at this roster currently as constructed. One, okay, Kevin Durant. We need Kevin Durant to stay healthy and do his part of the deal, right? If Kevin Durant doesn't stay healthy and hold on to his part of the deal, we're not winning the championship. But you look at Jokic with a championship run with Denver, the MVPs, taking the Oklahoma City to Thunder to 7 games this past season. You look at Şengün right now. Man, oh man, you don't want to say future MVP, you don't want to say top 10 player, but it looks like he's headed in that direction. Him and Durant, this could be a really, really dangerous combo. Could be up there with the best 1-2 combos in the league. Now, one thing we've definitely realized, now Kevin Durant was just playing with, was just over in Phoenix. And that was not, enough to get it done, even though he's playing with Devin Booker. So, obviously, we know it takes more than 1-2 punches. We've seen them all the time. You got Luka, LeBron, and LeBron's a little older, but still, great 1-2 duo. There's a lot of them. But beyond that, this roster, there's so many guys here that have not reached their prime yet, that if they're hungry, and I think that the way this is constructed, the way this culture that Udoka's instilled, I think they're going to stay hungry. And I think that guys with, Fred being out, man, Reed Shepherd has not reached his ceiling. How high that ceiling is, we don't know, but we know that there's another level, and we're going to see him go to that level. We're going to see Reed go to another level. How high that level is, if that level's good enough, it's yet to be seen. But we're going to see Reed go to another level. We're going to see Amin Thompson go to another level. We're going to see Jabari Smith Jr. go to another level. We're going to see Tari Eason go to another level. When all these things happen, and then you got Dorian Finney-Smith and Josh Okogie, you add another, we'll see, point guard in the mix, Aaron Holiday. I know Aaron Holiday and Reed Shepherd at the point guard position. No disrespect. I love Aaron Holiday. But obviously when you're thinking about championship backcourts, Kevin Durant, how much ball handling he's gonna do. Amin Thompson, how much is he gonna do? Obviously, there's gonna be another guard brought in, but there's still a lot of pieces. It's all about matchups, so we will see. But a lot of young players that can hit another level, and there's going to be some guys that are really going to be able to shine. Now, there were some questions that, and admit, man, I mean, last year there were some points, all of you guys, there were probably some games you watched Fred, and not no disrespect to Fred. I think, his leadership is key, and Fred's a dog, man. Showed up in the playoffs. Fred's a very important part of this team. His team's not better today with this news than it was yesterday. So no disrespect to Fred, but there were some times during the season where you probably, if were watching the Rockets games, there were some moments that if somebody would have came up to you at the bar while you were watching the Rockets game and said, "Hey, Fred's not going to be on this team next year. Are you okay with that?" You'd be like, "We'll be all right." There were some moments there, and then you got to the Golden State series and got to the end, and it's like, okay, we probably need Fred back when you look at the roster, when you look at the other options. Best mutual fit. And then when you saw the restructuring of the contract, you felt good about it. You did. I did. But, yeah, so we'll see. But there's guys who can go to another level. You got the coaching, and then also health. Health and blessings. I like to say health and luck, some people will say, but that's another reason that the Rockets can win it all. And you may be thinking, what is this guy talking about? Is he drunk? I'm not drunk. Obviously, because the Rockets are already on the wrong side of that, and I'm not going to name names because we know who the superstars are around the league. We know who the best players in the NBA are. We know what teams are projected to be standing in our way. But just like, Fred's gone down, it's like Halliburton went down in the finals last season. There's always injuries that are a part of the game, and there's, one or two players, it happens, you're right there. So, and this team's also built for the long haul. So, I think ESPN, and I'll pull that article up another time, but, they were rating the NBA franchises for the future, like next 1 to 3 years, I believe even 4 to 5 years. I think the Rockets were number 2 after the Thunder, but I'm gonna have to go ahead and double check on that. So even with Kevin Durant, it's don't get too inflated. This is still a very important season to see how this team plays, to see if this team competes for a championship. Lost in the first round last year. You definitely want to get further. You want to move that progress. You want to try to see the end. Can we get to the second round? Can we get to the Western Conference Finals? Get to the Western Conference Finals. Anything can happen. One guy goes down. We saw him with the Nuggets. I know Oklahoma City was favored, but Aaron Gordon was banged up. All it takes, get to the finals, anything can happen. So, and as we're talking about that, how much have the odds really changed? I saw that there was an article written. I thought it was kind of cute that I know they were trying to get ahead of the news. It wrote as soon as the injury happened. It wrote it very quickly. They were saying the Rockets' title odds haven't changed, and it's like, well, I told you it will. It will, and they have just a day later. So we're gonna go and take a look at that. I'm going to pull up ESPN Bet here, and right now, what's really improved quite a bit, Oklahoma City Thunder, their title odds got a lot better. They were already number 1, but plus 205, which is very, very big favorite. When you look at this, isn't to win the West, this is just to win the whole thing. Plus 205 for the Thunder. And for the Western Conference, right now, you've got them at plus 150. Now, what does that mean? And we talked about this. You guys probably know. Risk $100, you win $205 in profit with those plus 205 odds. Now, Oklahoma City Thunder are favored. You got second, you got the Cleveland Cavaliers at plus 650. And you want to talk about health. Team that had an outstanding regular season last year, but Evan Mobley, Darius Garland is going to miss part of this season, and Jared Allen. I mean, they ran into three All Stars. You run into injuries. I mean, those are the types of things that can happen, and there are no more Ty Jerome there, so Cavs are definitely vulnerable. Denver Nuggets. I like the. I want to say I like the Nuggets, but as far as the way they built their team, Nuggets, I think rightfully right now are ranked ahead of the Rockets at plus 850. But anything can happen. I'm not gonna. We know they've got guys over there who've struggled with injuries in the past. I'm not gonna name it and act like I'm trying to speak that on anybody. I'm not. But Denver Nuggets, very worthy opponent. Hey, Şengün got the best of Joker in the Euro basket with Turkey taking out Serbia, so I think he could do it here. New York Knicks at plus 875. So you got the Thunder, the Cavs, the Nuggets, the Knicks, all ahead of the Rockets. Obviously, with the East, two Eastern Conference teams. Only really one's gonna matter, and that's whoever you play in the finals. But the Rockets are plus 1200. Rockets were in that plus 700 to plus 850 range. So now the Rockets, falling down to fifth best odds, but not so much as fifth best odds, but a little bit more distant behind. You got the Lakers at plus 1300. So Rockets, at least according to the odds makers right now, they have us in that kind of that Los Angeles Lakers category. And you got the Orlando Magic right behind there, the Clippers, and the Timberwolves. Clippers aren't winning the championship, but nice look at those odds. Rockets, as far as the conference goes, in the Western Conference, are going to have the third best odds, obviously. Pretty much standing pat. They got the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Rockets, Lakers, Timberwolves, Clippers, Warriors, Mavericks. So odds have changed a little bit there. Now it's also when you go to the looking at the division winners here. Rockets minus 200. San Antonio Spurs plus 400. Mavericks plus 800. That number's come down a little bit. So obviously the market is adjusting to Fred's injury. All right. Probably feel for, I wonder how young some of the viewers may be, but for some of you guys out there may feel like, all right, our segment of Rockets history, 2012-2013 season for the Houston Rockets, may be feeling like we're kind of into more of I know we're in a new era here with Udoka, but the beginning of the era before this era, I should say. I'm not really talking about so much the Silas tanking years, but get what I'm going here with the 2012-2013 season. Really exciting because this is when the Rockets obtained James Harden from the Oklahoma City Thunder. In exchange, Rockets sent out Kevin Martin, Jeremy Lamb, 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick in exchange for Daquan Cook, Cole Aldridge, Lazar Hayward, and James Harden. Also, Rockets added Jeremy Lin to the roster as well. Went into that 2012-2013 season under head coach Kevin McHale, 45-37, went to the playoffs, first round, and took on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder that season, of course, led by Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook. You had Serge Ibaka. You had Big Perk on that team as well, Russell Westbrook. Rockets lost the first 3 games of that series, fell down in an 0-3 hole, blown out in game 1, but lost by 3 points in games 2 and games 3. Omer Asik, for you guys who remember him, had a pretty solid series there, basically leading the Rockets and rebounding. In 5 out of the 6 games, Rockets pushed it to 6 games, despite losing the first 3. Won game 4. And Houston led by 27 points and 8 assists from Chandler Parsons, 14 rebounds from Ashik, 105-103 win, and then went to Oklahoma City, won Game 5, 107-100. Couldn't get it done, though, at the Toyota Center in Game 6. Lost that game 94-103. James Harden on the season led the team 25.9 points per game, 5.8 assists per game. Started in all 78 games that he played. He had 13.4 points per game from Jeremy Lin. Shout out to Jeremy Lin, the second leading scorer on the team that season. And went to in the playoffs. You had Chandler Parsons was second in scoring, 18.2 points per game. James Harden led the way of 26.3 points per game. Did not have really the most productive playoff series up from Jeremy Lin there. Patrick Beverley, 11.8 points per game in the playoffs for the Rockets. So that was 45-37, fun season, beginning of the James Harden era. James Harden on the squad, Chandler Parsons, Jeremy Lin, Patrick Beverley. So, but ended with a first round loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Oklahoma City Thunder, after that, would actually be upset in the second round by the number 5 seed Memphis Grizzlies in 5 games. And NBA Finals that year, you had Memphis then got swept by the Spurs. Spurs went on to play the Miami Heat. And 7-game series, one of the historic series, legendary series there, Miami Heat beat the Spurs 4-3 in that season. That's the 2012-2013 Rockets season. This has been Rockets Daily. Go ahead, subscribe. Let me know in the comments, do you think the Rockets can still win the championship? And if so, let me know if you do. Let me know if you don't, and give your reasons why. God bless. Be safe out there.